Welcome to the OTA podcast, where we discuss everything performance training. I'm Coach Chris Barnard. Let's get into it. Here's why you shouldn't start an online coaching business in 2025. What's going on, guys? I'm Coach Chris Barnard here with the OTA podcast, giving you some of the best gems and realest takes out there for the coaching and performance coaching industry. Today, what I wanted to talk to you about is, essentially, if you guys don't know this yet, but we essentially have two business programs where we teach gym owners or in-person coaches how to scale their coaching business. And on the other side, we have one where we actually teach online coaching business, right? How to get clients online and how to scale that side of the business. So I'm actually kind of contradicting myself here, but let me come full circle. I believe that a majority of the people that we speak to, coaches now, when it comes to the online coaching business, they just don't understand the amount of time and effort that it takes to get that thing off the ground. A lot of coaches we speak to, typically they already have their coaching business going, or they want to get into the space. They think they have a couple extra hours a week to dedicate to the online coaching business, and they think in the mindset that it's more of a side hustle that will just fall into their lap that's easy. And if that was the case, everybody would be doing it, right? As the age-old saying goes. So with that being said, what I will say is there's essentially four categories of people that we work with that I tend to find have the most success online. So if you fall into these buckets or think that you could fall into one of these four buckets, then maybe an online coaching business is suited for you. But I have to first preface it by saying this is not a side hustle. And even if you have millions of followers, it is a full-time job, all-out effort. And especially when you're starting off, to get that thing off the ground, you really got to grind. So bucket number one, or coach number one, is going to be your ultra charismatic local celebrity. Now, let me go ahead and explain this. Everybody's been to like a commercial gym or something like that, where you have that guy in the gym who's always offering help, wanting to support other people in that gym, always saying hi to everybody, larger than life personality, ultra charismatic, and just genuinely wants to help. Those are the type of guys and coaches that genuinely kind of like don't mind. They're super extrovert, love to talk to people, love to share content. Maybe their social media isn't as big, but they have a presence about themselves. We've worked with certain coaches that walk the walk, talk the talk, look the part, and, simply like real meatheads where, these people just want to ask them what they do. They naturally ask them, what are you doing to grow your biceps? What are you doing to get such a large bench press? It usually stems from in the gym. I'll give you an example. One of our team members here used to have a previous coach in bodybuilding, and he had his coach had over 100 clients, zero social media presence, literally had like 4 gym memberships in the local area, would bounce around all these gyms and do his own workout. And he literally just talked to everybody, help them out, connect with them, whether it be social or text, and then offer them to be able to support them online coaching. He has over 100 clients online, right? So that first bucket is if you have a larger than life personality, you have the charisma, you're an extrovert, you can't go anywhere without helping somebody. You're super excited to be able to help people in their fitness or athletic journey, right? So if you qualify under that, maybe you're qualified to be able to go into the online coaching space. Number 2, this is kind of a small percentage, but this is the gym owner that has their gym up to scale. They're getting a ton of leads. It's already on autopilot. They can dedicate the right amount of time to online, and they do what we call more of a hybrid, right? This is where the people that can't come into their gym, or they're too far away, or they can't meet the total amount of sessions that they should be, they go on more of a hybrid, right? So these gym owners sign them up for an online training, right? They can still do and dabble and get small clients here and there, whether that be social media and things they share on social media. But for the most part, it's people that they're seeing face to face in their gym. We have a couple online coaches like this that are working with, that have a really successful gym, and they're able to kind of connect with people that might not be able to make it in person. So they switch them over to an app, deliver their workouts, and have them as online clients. Very small percentage. What's up, coaches? Real quickly, let me go ahead and introduce you to Performance Coach U certification. Now, this is the certification / course that I put together for coaches who want to train athletes and not only get results, but also maximize profits in the private sector. The problem that I saw with a lot of these courses and certifications out there for coaches was that they provided a lot of information and not a lot of application. So I wanted to pull back the covers over 10 plus years of experience and show you the ins and outs of actually being in the trenches so that you get maximum results while also scaling your business. So if you're interested in this, go ahead and check out the link down below and you can get more information. Number 3, all right, and this is what I tell everybody who wants to come in and get into the online is the person who is an ultra expert, a specialist in one particular niche and can go extremely deep on that niche, all right? So if you're the lacrosse guy, if you're the soccer girl or the soccer or the gymnast strength and conditioning coach, you're wrapped up in that culture. You could speak the lingo. You probably participated or played that sport at a decently high level or coached it at a high level, right? Like the skill level of that is extremely high. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It can even be other things such as like vertical jump, which could go across many sports like volleyball, basketball, but you're an absolute technician, expert in just the vertical jump. You speak it so much, you go so deep in it. The reason being, and especially when it comes to the sports, whether it be baseball, you're the basketball strength and conditioning guy, is that when you go online and you start to share some of those things, one, you're speaking to a very direct avatar. That avatar, that demographic is probably going to find you, a basketball player in high school. If you put out enough content and you're an expert and you speak the game and you know the lingo, you know the culture, they're gonna know that, right? You know what that athlete's going through on a visceral level, so you can really connect and build rapport with them, and they can sense out your authenticity as well. But then on the other side of that is what you got to understand is that parent or athlete, if they don't have that specialist that really knows what you're going through, say for instance in their local area they just have some regular run-of-the-mill performance gym, but it's not a basketball specialist, right? You have the opportunity or a greater opportunity for them to join you online as opposed to going in person. And I just got to say this is just kind of a something to kind of drop in the middle of this is most athletes, because of how many coaches are out there nowadays, which is a beautiful thing, right? They had regular commercial gyms when I was coming up. Now, every athlete has a warehouse space, a performance facility available to them. And parents and athletes would rather choose in person because of the amount of work they can get in. So you gotta stand apart. You gotta separate yourself. What's unique to you and what makes you an expert in your field. So that's the number one thing, right? When I started off, there wasn't really many, especially online, too much of the performance. So it's like I went wide. I started working with baseball, basketball, football, right? So I found my niche in speed and explosiveness later on. But at first I was serving swimmers, volleyball, any athletes that would walk in my door, and I just started creating content about it. If I were to redo it again, I would make sure that I'm specialized in a specific niche, right? And I don't want to compete against somebody in a specialized niche if I'm spread thin and I don't really have a clear message of who I'm serving. Last but not least is going to be a small demographic out there of people who want to do online coaching, and that's your content creator, right? There's so many coaches nowadays that I've seen that because of the algorithm, because of the way social media has been such an amazing tool for us, is they're able to, get on Instagram, get on YouTube, kind of study what hits, maybe put out something viral that goes into the ether, into the algorithm, explodes their training business based off of one movement, and then it carries on to them consistently creating content. So if you're somebody that, is really deep into the social media side of things, know what can hit, know how to produce really good content and can articulate it well, and you're somebody who can grow your following or already has a following, then yes, you're suited to be a online coach. It's a smaller percentage, but if it's, I always tell people, especially when they get into the social media game, right now it's about quantity over quality. And as you continue to go, you never know which. I've talked to many coaches where it's like out of nowhere, one particular drill hit and it absolutely put their coaching business on rocket boosters, and then they were trying to figure out how to catch up with the online coaching business, whether it be deliverables, fulfillment, sales, all of that. So that's a very small percentage, but if you know social media and you can get your following and you can get it continuously to grow, then have at it. You could be an online coach. So there's the 4 buckets, right? You have your ultra charisma, local celebrity who could talk to anybody, transition them to your online coaching. 2, you have your hybrid gym owner who works with a ton of athletes, scaled up their gym, and now is starting to do more of a hybrid brick and mortar / online. You have number 3, who's your ultra specialist, knows their niche, knows exactly who they're talking to, can go deep with them, understands on a visceral level, all those things, and can go deep. And then you have your content creator. So if you fall under one of those 4 buckets, and if you want to strive, right, to be have your online coaching business, try to think about which one you would best fit in, and you got to do all 4 at some capacity at a decent level, in my opinion, to really make it work. So there you have it. I know it's a little bit contradictory, but this is a conversation I have with coaches on a weekly basis, whether having an online coaching business fit for you. And if you do fall under one of those 4 buckets, we could serve you with our coaching program in which we serve other coaches who have scaled up their online coaching business. So hope that helps. I'll talk to you guys next time.